Hello, everyone! You have entered the battle phase, and it is I, the Midnight Bard, your favorite bard, joined again by three fellow cohorts, amigos, compadres, filled with
What's up?
hunger.
Correct.
I think it's just me that's hungry.
No, I'm hungry
I already
too,
ate.
but I don't.
Ate an orange too.
I just feel like super tired today, so I don't feel like cooking. But introducing them from the top, Mubutambo Albertano, aka Helix.
I thought for sure that was going to be Gamma, but yeah, that's me, Helix.
No. Kipi Kupi Masahashi, aka Gamma.
Hey,
And Sacro.
Hey,
how come he didn't get a cool name?
He'll get
Seikro's cool enough, I guess.
he'll get a cool name eventually.
He hasn't
Oh,
been
I
here long
forgot.
enough.
Everyone does.
I'm the newest guy, my bad.
Everyone does. So we're back today after reading the second story arc for Kaiju number 8. But before we get into that, we watched the first episode recently as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys
Sure
think of
did.
the first episode of the anime?
I still think that music soundtrack is fire.
The song
I
was
think
great.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
I also
good.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch it again. I've already forgotten what happened.
Well, tell me more about why you think it's fire.
Which is good. Like who was it that made it this time?
One Republic.
One Republic.
Yeah.
Well, they make pretty good songs though too. So
Yeah, that they do.
They're kind of hit or miss for me.
You know what's funny is
They
like
can
recently
sing.
we've gotten into a weird what do you call it, funk with me and my wife, where we're like, yeah, like, you know, we were joking around like One Republic doesn't make good songs, they're like a one-hit wonder, and then we went on like this huge thing where we realized that, oh my gosh, they actually make a lot of songs that we enjoy. How did we not know it was them? And now they're showing up everywhere. It's kind of like how, you know, you never see, like, say, a Toyota Corolla until you're driving one, and then you see them everywhere. You know what I mean?
that's
I see
that
them everywhere
I
all the time
can
anyways.
I can relate to that because after I moved to Hyundai, started working on Hyundais, I started seeing all of the Hyundais, all the Genesis. And I was like, hey, I can recognize them now.
Yeah. So the second story arc for Kaiju number 8 is the Sagamihara Neutralization Operation at Daybreak arc.
Mm-hmm. Their first actual mission outside of the training.
Exactly, their first actual mission outside of training. Precisely. So the synopsis here is, it's their first actual mission outside of basic training.
You said that already.
Yes, I did. Last time I gave like a breakdown, you guys were like, oh, and that's the entire arc. Thank you for joining us. So I guess if we want me to go into more detail, okay. It's
Let's go chapter by chapter. Come on. Run me
let's
through it again. I just read it this morning.
Okay, so basically, like, the way that this arc breaks down is your favorite rookies go on their first actual mission outside of basic training with several groups led by different vice captains, including our favorite vice captain Hoshina. Let's see, Kafka proves himself early on by using his kaiju dismantling knowledge to determine several key weaknesses and interesting features of the kaiju that they're fighting at this moment, all of which are yoju, by the way, which are the little ones.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that he like literally just started looking at it, like tearing one apart, and immediately found that they could have babies, that they have
Yeah.
reproductive organs.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I wasn't expecting, and it was something that in my head I kind of thought that it would present a bigger deal as we went on. Like, it's like, oh, by the way, these have reproductive organs, and I thought for sure that they were just gonna be swarmed with the things eventually, right?
They
I
kind of were
mean,
though.
technically they kind of were. It's just it wasn't to the
Yeah.
point to where it was overrun.
Yeah, and the reason why is because, you know, as the story arc progresses, we have Captain Mina show up and just absolutely wreck the Honju, which is the big one, and then lastly, as everybody's focusing on cleanup duty, Rino Ichikawa and Iharu run into the primary antagonist of the manga, Kaiju number 9, who seems to be just like the absolute incarnation of body horror. And
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
the
here
way
for
I
it.
always saw it as just like a fungus.
He
Or a
Kind
does.
of like an
virus.
Espada to me.
I'm sorry, what was that?
From Bleach.
Uh,
An Espada from Bleach.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's
Kinda.
the head shape.
It's yeah.
Because it's like
Ukiora.
he strikes me more like Agent Smith.
From the Matrix?
Agent Smith.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily looks wise, but like personality wise, I can see it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. I kind of get this feeling that there's more to him going on than we're getting to know right now. Because right now he's an anomaly. Besides Kafka, he's the only other kaiju that can take human form that we know of.
Well, he's also
he's
the
the
first.
reverse of.
He's also the first kaiju that we've seen that has intelligence.
Right. That isn't
True.
just like a monster. But additionally, what else was I gonna say is he seems kind of like the polar opposite to Kafka, who is a human who becomes kind of a kaiju. This seems like a kaiju that becomes kind of a human. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, yeah, just looking at it like from the outside, Kafka knows about kaiju because it's his job to fight them. And it looks like Kaiju number 9 kind of knows about humans because it's his job to kill them. But breaking it down chapter by chapter, if that's what we're doing, early on we see Kafka like do his thing, using his 1% unleash to tear into a kaiju corpse and kind of determine, as we mentioned, that there is kind of like a biology element to these things, and he can identify what's going on, figured out where their core was, where their reproductive organs were. And we saw Kikoru Shinomiya just absolutely stunting on fools. Like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, like we're gonna surpass you," and then she's basically showing them that the road to surpassing her ain't gonna be an easy one. Yeah.
Wish we knew why she was stronger. No, not her. Sorry, Mina. Why Mina was so powerful. We
Oh,
keep talking about how powerful she is and how skilled and all this other stuff, but we haven't really got anything. Even as far as I am in the actual manga, I've not seen anything about her yet and how she's so strong.
well, it's my understanding that Brother Gamma knows exactly why she's so strong because he's read it farther
No
than all of us.
comments.
Yeah, exactly. So no
Okay.
comments here.
So it does eventually get into why she's so strong. Is it going to be something kind of
Yeah.
BS, or is it something like she worked for it?
If mild spoiler, she worked for it.
Okay, well that's all I care about.
Yeah.
I'm tired of BS characters who are just super strong. Anime does it way too often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the Ichigo of what do you call it? Kaiju number 8. She's strong just
No,
because
no,
she's the
no,
main
no, no.
character.
Ichigo.
No, do not be putting her with Ichigo. Ichigo feels so broken.
Yeah, Ichigo feels so
Ichigo does
broken.
nothing to get stronger though. He just is.
Absolutely fucking nothing, and it drives me up a goddamn wall. I'm
He
like,
just is.
bro.
If you go back as far as like Naruto, right?
Right.
Naruto himself does nothing the entire series. He just fools around and messes around, and he becomes incredibly powerful because of a demon inside of him.
Which
right?
is so
It's not-
stupid because when you
well,
consider it, Naruto was originally the poster child
the
for
show
like
for hard work. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was literally a whole 3-year time skip for him where he was training with Jiraiya.
okay,
And
yes.
did nothing. They watched everything, and he's learned his one ability, which is making a slightly bigger Rasengan. That was his one thing he learned. I was so upset because I loved Rock Lee's whole thing.
Yes.
And they said, you know what? Let's throw that away. He doesn't even do anything.
Neji,
Okay, cool.
Guy
Shikamaru,
being the
Rock
in the
Lee,
champ right there.
all of those guys were like paragons of like, I'm gonna do hard work to overcome the situation in which I've been born into, only to just be like, nah, you know what? Broken abilities, just broken abilities all around.
Whoa. You say Shikamaru. I'm like, isn't he the smartest guy?
He is the smartest guy. He's also
What
the
kind of-
laziest.
yeah.
He's just lazy.
Yeah, he's just
He's
lazy.
tactically brilliant, though.
He's like me.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely super talented, but I am so lazy.
I don't know what I am.
No, you're gonna say that Sakura's best girl too, right?
No,
Best
God, no. Like Sakura is the least good girl in like all of anime, in my
So-
opinion. Like such a
Such a hard worker.
like we just dropped.
you want to talk about? Do we want to talk about this right now? Do we? Should I
Go.
drop the lore on you real quick?
Like here's all I want to
did
say. Okay, hit me with
Okay.
it. Hit me with it.
So the show is about progression of character, right?
Right.
And there's like 3 or 4 characters who progress from what they are at the beginning to what they are at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sakura progresses the most out of any character in the entire show, going from what she was, a fangirl, to one of the most powerful ninjas in the village, running her own hospital, and she also still goes on missions and does stuff. None of the other female characters in the show even do that anymore.
I
They're all
mean,
out.
I guess. like,
Hinata is a housewife who, as soon as she got Naruto's attention finally, she said, I'm done. That's it. That's all I wanted in life. And becomes
well, I mean, nothing against
goal.
like just achieving your goals, right? I mean, like, hey, if being
Is that a
Naruto's
goal,
housewife
though?
is what you wanted, hey, girl, more power to you.
and
by
then
all
Naruto
means.
became like the worst father.
Ooh.
He literally couldn't even attend his own. He couldn't even attend his own kid's birthday party and sent a clone instead.
And
Did you guys
I haven't
finish
seen
Naruto, by the way?
Yeah,
No, you guys have finished Naruto, huh?
did not.
I
like,
finished-
I hit the highlight reel.
Naruto.
I finished Naruto, but I never watched Naruto.
The last movie of Naruto is the first season of Boruto, and that explains what happens afterwards. How Sasuke's on this mission to redemption, comes back every once in a while, and then he ends up teaching Naruto's kid Boruto. We're talking about the wrong series here, but all I'm saying is the internet's wrong for disliking this character. She even has her own special day in all of Asia because Japan has voted that she's the #1 female character in all of anime.
Who? Sakura?
Number 1, yep, go look it up. It's true.
I'm mad. I'm
From a guy who
so
hasn't finished
angry.
it yet. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Look, like I said, I hit the highlight reel, and here's what I understand from
Highlight
Naruto.
reel, huh?
Here's what I understand from Naruto. Obito was never dead. Madara comes back. There's a moon goddess. Fucking Jinchuriki Battle Royale, baby. And in the end,
Yeah.
Naruto gets...
Naruto almost dies.
Yeah.
Sakura saves him with her healing jutsus.
Mm.
Sasuke comes back, and
You
then
said-
Sasuke and Naruto have to fight.
You said healing jutsu. I thought you were gonna say healing juices, and I was like, wait,
I mean,
wait.
I was going to say healing juju initially, but yeah, it's this thing, man. It's a huge thing. I'm telling you. Like, if you want character development, that is character development. Just because most people haven't read past the initial stuff and get stuck at one specific point in the show, it's the point where Sakura tries to tell Naruto, "Hey, I don't want you to go after Sasuke anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love you." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "No, you don't. You're lying to me,"
Yeah.
which is true. He was.
Okay,
But,
look, here's
uh,
something that I have to say about
That's
that.
what people hated it.
I feel like that was very well written, though.
The whole thing is really done. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
I
done
felt
to
like that
show
was good.
Naruto's growth.
Yes,
And
100%.
nobody cared about that.
Yeah, no, everybody treated it like, what's her name? Ichigo from Darling in the Franxx trying to kiss main character to get him away from 02, right? And it was like, Sakura trying to trying to get Naruto to, like, stop putting himself in danger. I was like, firstly, that's really noble of her. She's full of crap, but that's really noble of her. And
He just wants to go
secondly...
kill himself. So yeah.
Yeah, and
She cares more about that than her feelings. so,
right. And
you know.
secondly, Naruto, like, just turning her down, that shows his growth too. So, no, I 100% agree. That was excellently written.
But most people stop at that point.
Yeah, I mean, people are incapable of, like, seeing the subtext in it, and I feel like that's just a loss for everyone. Anyway, Iharu Furuhashi and Rino Ichikawa facing off against Yoju together, right? And just, I feel like there's an ongoing theme throughout this entire arc, which is a bunch of people who are aiming for the top, noticing that the top is actually a lot higher than they initially expected. A lot of people are looking at Kikoru being like, okay, well, I'm going to surpass her, but she's like leagues above them. And it's like, oh shit, I can't surpass her. Iharu looking at Rino thinking like, I'm going to be the best here. And Rino just outclassing him outright. And he just realizing, crap, I'm not anywhere near where I should be. And ultimately, we got Kafka looking up at Mina and realizing how strong she is, and realizing I have a long way to go to get to where she is, and kind of like a little mini one where Kafka is facing off against Captain Hoshina and realizing, holy shit, this is what a vice captain can do? My God, I can barely keep up with him. Not to say anything of Kaiju number 9 and everyone realizing, holy shit, this is a Kaiju like we've never encountered before. But yeah, I feel like that was kind of like the underlying theme of this particular arc myself.
But at the same time, you gotta remember, Homeboy was trying to help Kafka. Like, hey, I don't want you transforming.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna outdo everybody, so you don't have to transform.
Yeah, that was his whole enrichment on that.
That's an interesting observation. So you're saying everybody's kind of like motivations are kind of different, but like Ichikawa's is like the most noble out of everyone?
I don't know if I'd say noble, because like his whole goal was just like he wanted to just keep him from transforming so that he didn't have to expose us being part of the kaijus now.
Right. And here's the thing that I have to say about that. So like we know where everybody kind of stands in regards to what their end goal is, right? Kafka wants to stand next to Mina. Kikoru wants to kind of please her daddy. But like, where is Ichikawa? Originally, his goal was to join the defense force. That's just the job that he wanted. But like, I feel like out of everyone, he's the one with the least defined goal in this particular arc.
Well, the only thing he wanted to do was to help his friend, which was Mina.
Kafka, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kafka.
I
was gonna go, well, Mina, you homegirl.
Yeah, the homegirl Mina. But like Ichikawa is the guy that we're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, like, good old Reno, Nevada. The boy himself.
So is it Lino or Reno?
But
I get the names mixed up. There's so many names.
Yeah, I see, like, I'm using the Shonen Jump app, and they spell out his name as Reno. So, like, that's what I know him as.
I think it's technically Lino, but in Japanese they don't pronounce L's like that, I guess. So
right.
It's Reno.
Yeah, so yeah, it's probably like correct? Yeah, Reno or something like that if we're like going by their phonetic pronunciation, right?
So the character Ihiro, or the guy that was fighting with Reno,
yeah,
he kept having flashbacks to seeing Mina too. So he's clearly got some attachment to her as well.
He does. You're 100% right about that. That is something
that I
noticed.
Quick flashes.
Yeah.
To her.
Yeah.
Also, I like her more now because she has like one moment where she takes a picture of the vice captain, where he's like, "You see me at my worst." She's like, "Click."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I didn't see her personality before, but now I see it. I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Is it me, or did that like little flash of personality give you kind of like a Kikoru vibes too? Because
I mean, a lot of mangaka, however you say it, they kind of write their girl characters very similar. They always give them little cute moments.
Yeah,
that's just a thing they do.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm cool with it.
So, we basically like we're hitting that theme really, really hard. And like, out of curiosity, who do you guys think like kind of shines in this arc? I'm curious to hear your takes on this.
The vice captain for sure for me.
I think the one that probably has like the most showing from different from the first arc would be the I can't think of his name right now.
I have the wiki up. There's Kafka, Reno, Mina,
Kikuro. It's the dude that joined Kafka at the dismantling the bodies.
Yeah, Reno.
Yeah, it's Reno.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ichikawa.
Good old Ichikawa. Reno, Nevada, the boy.
Yeah.
I'm not great with their names, obviously.
That's why I haven't pulled up. I could not remember. I just read them.
However, I do feel like Helix is right. This is kind of one of the reasons why I feel like Ichikawa kind of has the potential to become like the what do you call it? Deuteragonist of the series? Like the secondary protagonist?
Oh, the secondary protagonist.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of that. That's kind of interesting.
I heard it earlier today. Like, it was a word that I was like, that's not a real thing. But, I figured, you know what? I'm in a position where I can use a word that I read And even if it's wrong, we all get the gist of what it's supposed to mean. That's how language works. We're not a slave to words. Not anymore.
I'm a slave to words. I'm a writer. Of course
Words are words.
But words can be special things when they're put in correct order.
I feel like Eminem got it right when he said, like, music is like magic. There's a certain feeling you get when you're spitting and you're flowing and everybody's feeling your shit. I identify with that a lot because I feel like there's a reason why magic is typically labeled with words that mean speech. So, like, incantation, like, incant, like, as if to chant. Enchantment, to chant again. Let's see, spell could be broken down into a word that means speak. So yeah, like I'm feeling that words carry weight is what I'm trying to say. But that's neither here nor there. Ichikawa. Yeah. I feel like Helix is onto something because I do feel like this was an arc that kind of showed him kind of with protagonist power, like almost. If there's a couple of things that I want to point out is that he was a little OP, but like in the entire time he's talking about how he can't exactly escape this thing. He's very aware that he's at a limit and that if he's in this situation for too long, he's gonna lose. Like if this thing took down Kikoru, I don't stand a chance, were his exact words. And he's doing the best he can. And he's kicking a lot of ass. But I think that the way that this was supposed to be framed or intended to be framed was that he is in desperation mode, pretty much.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
He might be on desperation mode, but it's just like Kafka was on desperation mode on episode 1 of the series.
Yeah.
And they both kind of the same thing, too. They both threw their lives away to save each other in that first episode.
That's true. They have like that buddy energy going on, like, where the thing that Kafka did in the first chapter, the first episode to, basically throw himself away to give Ichikawa a chance. Ichikawa does the same thing for Iharu in this particular chapter, which is chapter, what is it? Well, 14. Actually, 14 is where their whole ordeal begins, it looks like.
You gotta admit, they were kind of fighting pretty good at the beginning there as well.
Yeah, like, so, it's got kind of like that thing where they're rookies, but, they're all doing precisely what they need to, right? Like, they're behaving as a unit. They're kicking ass. More on that later. But the thing is, they walked into a situation that they had no business being in.
Oh, for sure.
So right around chapter 15, we see Kaiju number 9 in all his grotesque glory. And he's basically shooting them with like finger bullets. and those things are like impossible to stop. And also the way that the finger bullets are kind of like drawn is like, it's the grossest thing ever, right? It's like... Like his finger like fattens up to like this pustule, and then it like, I don't know, like the
shoots.
Yeah,
shoots blood.
But the way that I look at this as is, and I'll put it on screen whenever the episode's edited. But like, it's the only word that comes to mind to like describe this is like it spoinks. Like his fingers squishes and then fires outward. It's like a spoinking motion.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you're meaning.
Yeah, and let's not forget that every time one of those bullets hit, it doesn't just like pierce them like a normal bullet does. It like deletes a part of them, right? Like there's whole chunks being removed from them. So like this dude is fucking terrifying.
Kind of reminds you of Taguro.
A little bit, yeah. Yes, Taguro. From Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a throwback.
Kinda.
Mm-hmm. Like it's the body horror element of it, because he initially at first glance is just like this skinny guy, which I think Sakura was the one that called it, like we called him mushroom shaped, and I see that he's
Felix.
He's very alien looking, and then just at a moment's notice, he can just warp his body to be like huge and terrifying and grotesque. It is definitely something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Keeps evolving
Keeps...
like a virus.
I think you mentioned last time that you thought he was a virus too.
I think that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just...
Yeah.
He definitely looks like a virus. Like, the way that he moves, the way that he reproduces, the way that he's doing everything. Like a fungus more than a virus, honestly.
Yeah. It kind of looks like we have like an ongoing thing here too, that usually somebody throws their life away to save somebody else, and then that somebody else comes back to save them last minute, because Iharu comes back and just takes a whole bunch of spoinky bullets from Kaiju number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiju...
And he still walks it off.
Yeah, he's
which
still...
I'm like, how?
Well,
their suit lets them heal themselves.
Exactly. Yes, he...
okay.
100% right. Like, their suits do have kind of like a power, like, where they can like focus the fibers in it to kind of like close the wounds a little bit. It's something...
It's just anime stuff, you know.
Anime shit.
Yeah, people get cut in half. They're like, it's okay. Let me reattach to the other half.
You remember the bleach shoulder slash? The bleach shoulder slash?
Like blood flow. Yes.
Yeah, everyone in Bleach gets slashed exactly in the shoulder and then like bleeds out 900 liters of blood.
Whoa.
It's iconic. And yet, like, next episode they just walk it off.
Always.
Yeah,
it's their soul pressure.
You don't need blood.
It's well, Sakur's actually got a point. A lot of the times they're like spirit forms, so it's their spirit blood. So...
yeah, and it comes back and just heals itself. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't write it.
Everyone knows spirit blood recovers faster than regular blood. But there is like I should say this about Iharu, is that, like, Kaiju number 9 winds up to like just basically skeet like 100 bullets directly into Ichikawa, and that's what Iharu kind of like jumps in, tackles Ichikawa out of the way. In the panel that follows, it kind of looks like they hit the floor. There's a lot of concrete flying up. But when we move on to the next page, Iharu is just kind of like bleeding a lot, and it's just kind of like, oh, so you took a few of those, and yeah, this is exactly where what Sakura was saying, that he's got a couple of flashes where he sees Mina with shorter hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who he wants to be up. They all want to be up with Mina, except for Reino.
Yeah, except for Reino.
Kikoro doesn't care at all. She's just like, I'm here, I'm strong.
I'm here, I'm
Watch
strong.
me do stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She's going to girl boss her way to the top, too.
For daddy.
I do what I want.
Hey, if her dad's cool, then, we're cool with that.
No, we'll get to her dad, I think, in the next arc, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I hated him at first, and I'm okay with him. We're cool.
So yeah, that's what we got going on here, and then we have the iconic fight, and I feel like this is something that we were getting to, that we were all kind of looking forward to, because we made the point last time that we discussed the first arc, that Kafka felt really overpowered in his kaiju form. He was almost like one punch manning his way through problems, and with Kaiju number 9, suddenly he's on a level playing field with something that should, by all means, be on the same playing field.
He knocked his head off in the first hit.
Exactly what I was about to ask.
Kill him. I don't know his level.
Yeah, so hit me with your thoughts about this.
If you notice, one of Kafka's skills is almost like Godzilla. Like the spine keeps crackled up, and then he just screams.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, this is something that
was cool.
We should bring up. Kafka's powers seem to be evolving. So tell me, what kind of powers did you were you excited to see Kafka use in this particular arc? Because there was quite a few that were new.
Rocket Punch.
The Rocket Punch was cool. Yeah.
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 The punch was my favorite.
The Rocket Punch.
I like the Scream. The Scream looked cool.
The Scream looked pretty
visually. It took it was like a whole page.
I gotta.
And did he know he could do that? Did he just randomly do that?
That's kind of the thing that I had questions about. Yeah, because it felt like it's just a thing that he does now, and I'm like, it kind of brings to mind the question, like, is he training off screen? Because
no,
are you practicing things?
Yeah.
No.
Because it would feel weird if he is, right? Because like the thing is, where would he even practice this if he's like on this facility the entire time? How does he know that he can do these things?
Maybe
he does it with anger.
Please elaborate.
I'd probably say it's probably more of like a inherent thing. Like as he fights, instinct. There you go.
Instinct. Man, my voice cracks so hard. Instinct, yeah.
Yeah.
Instinct would probably be the most likely.
Speaking of Instinct, which Pokemon Go team were you guys on? I was definitely Team Valor myself.
Instinct, not on purpose. It was the only shirt they had left at Hot Topic or at GameStop.
His
team two left. My friend and I grabbed them, so we're like, you know what? We're Team Instinct now.
Hell yeah!
And that was kind of it. That's all it took.
I went with Team Valor simply because, and this is going to be stupid, but I think that the word Valor is cooler than the words Mystic and Instinct. Because I was like, hey, you get like medals of Valor, right? You're like, Valor means bravery, it means courage, and so like to me, I'm like, hey, that's dope. Because having Valor like makes you a badass. Being Mystic makes you a wizard, and those guys are old. And having Instinct, animals have instinct. I don't know. Like I just.
Man, ever since Dragon Ball Super, Instinct's kind of become the thing now, right?
It has, but it wasn't back in 20 whenever like Pokemon Go took over the world.
2016, I think. I was on deployment, so I remember.
Should I like? Here's the thing. I feel like the summer that Pokemon Go released was the closest to world peace we've ever had.
I was in the Middle East, so I don't think so.
Like your particular experience with the thing like is contrary to
Overwatch
exactly what I was saying.
So I was playing Overwatch in a tent in the Middle East.
Lord have mercy.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
And then they sent me to Japan. That was way cooler.
I bet.
Except for Japan didn't have Pokemon Go yet when I got there. It was just in America and other countries, but not Japan.
How fucking weird, considering that, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah, it was strange.
But anyway.
Got it right before I left, though.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so Kafka's powers. Really dope. If I got to say... Hold on just a second. I'm Googling something because I know that it's somewhere here. My favorite power, and this is something that he showed up at the very tail end of the arc when he was fighting Vice Captain Hoshina, is that he seems to have some manner of body morphing capacities, kind of like what Kaiju number 9 has. Because Captain Hoshina, or Vice Captain Hoshina, goes for the kill, right? Like with the sword. And as the sword is penetrating his body, he morphs it so that there's like a mouth there where the sword is presently cutting, so that he can clamp down on it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And there's
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's not the first time that he's shown this capacity. Like in the first transformation that he has, he kind of showed a similar power. You know, like where his body was just kind of like very, I don't know, the thing-ing. You know, like if you guys have ever seen The Thing.
The Thinging.
Yeah, The Thinging.
Like
yeah, like, you know, from the horror movie from the 80s. His body was doing that. And it almost feels like it's like a weird response. Like it should be fluid, and it has the capacity of morphing into whatever he needs it to. And he's probably more of in a humanoid form because that's what he knows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, quick question for Gamma. As far as you've read, do you know what the thing that went out of his mouth and turned him into the kaiju is? As I explained it, I don't know.
Think of it like a QB.
Okay.
Like a Naruto QB?
Yep.
Like it knows Rasengan?
QB. QB doesn't know Rasengan. What do you mean?
No, you remember back when Naruto always had to go to the QB and go like, hey, lend me your power, and the QB was like, all right.
The
keep
QB
that
was
up,
like,
I'm gonna
nah,
take
kid,
over.
I'm a demon, nah. But basically, that's that's where we stand at where this whole arc kind of went. I have a couple of things left to kind of like discuss in terms of where the story went at this point. So Kafka fighting Kaiju number 9, initially I was like, yeah, he's fighting something that should be on his level, right? However, Kaiju number 9 is completely taken aback when he realizes he's fighting something a lot stronger than what he expected, which brings to mind Kaiju number 9 did not know that he was going to be facing Kaiju number 8, which is weird because Kaiju number 9 seems to know a lot.
I don't think he knows as much as he's letting on, though. I think he's also kind of, this is my directive and this is what I know I need to do, but I don't think he's getting any orders from anybody else.
I think he might be getting orders from somebody else.
No comment.
He doesn't seem super smart. He seems to know things, but it's like he knows things he's been told.
Yeah.
No comment.
Okay, well, Gamma's kind of giving it away, but there's something happening here, you know?
There is something happening
which we should get to. It might be better if we pick an anime next or a manga next time, and we just all stay up to date on the exact same chapters, so we can.
So that we're not doing the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like, yeah, like I'm nowhere near where Gamma is anymore, but I was pretty caught up with it like for a while. But that being said, let's see. I feel like Kaiju number 9 at this point, and mind you, it's been a while since I've read it, so like, and I'm not good at recalling information. So like right now, for all intents and purposes, I know a little bit more than everyone else does. But it feels to me like Kaiju number 9 knows a lot more about things than he's letting on, and I feel like you're right in that he probably knows things that he's been told. By whom? We don't know. He is a creepy guy though, and he did say whenever he had the fight with Kafka, now that I know what type you are, next time I'll kill you, which makes me feel like, okay, so he can prepare for things once he's seen them, or kind of like he can evolve or something. It kind of gives me that impression. Yeah. Also, Iharu and Reno both survived, which is good.
You're not gonna kill anyone off this early.
I don't think anybody died.
Well, no one that we care about, at least. No one with a name.
I'm not even sure randoms died. Well, they would have mentioned at least somebody dying at some point. They were throwing up a big old party, like, look at us, we did it.
Well,
so I don't think anyone died.
I was thinking like civilians.
Oh, they evacuated. Well, actually, I don't remember what they said about that. They kind of skipped the first chapter in this part on my reread this morning. So
right. Let's see. That being said, at the very end, we have like that whole party where everybody just kind of like cuts loose. We find out that one of the guys in the group is actually like the scion of the company that makes the kaiju fighting suits that they wear.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a neat thing. I'm trying.
I think that's character. I think it was kind of cool too, where it showed like Kafka at the beginning, whenever he was like, I think you mentioned it too, whenever he was showing that like 1% was enough for him to start tearing apart the bodies of the monsters.
Kind of a scaling thing. You're right. Yeah, it is cool. It kind of gives you an impression of like what exactly 1% of this looks like, right? Like,
and it shows even that like if they can mass produce something like that, then they'd be able to do a lot more, and like they can probably tear apart a body, and like because like in the first episode of the anime, Kafka even say they want us to tear this body apart in a week. Like, it seems kind of impossible.
Yeah.
So think if everybody had stuff like that, it would make it so much easier for them.
Yeah, and it's something that Kafka even mentioned himself. Like, oh wow, 1% is making it so easy to cut through this. Like, if we can mass produce this, like the dismantling crew would have an easier time.
Yeah, that would be based on whether the dismantling crew can even use the suits, though.
Also,
most of them wouldn't be able to. So, like, just getting another Kafka where 1% can use 1% would be a lot of help still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you notice on this art, it shows that Kafka is the 90 is equivalent of a vice captain as Kaiju in a way, since the vice captain had to use 90%.
Yeah, because he even was like, I think even at the beginning of whenever they were running towards the mission area, they had called him vice captain. I could be wrong on that though.
Yeah,
Vice Captain Hoshina.
Yeah,
no, it was Kafka. Let me see if I can find the picture real quick.
Kafka. I don't know how his power level so far is, but he's definitely was holding his own. He wasn't trying to hurt him either, so maybe he could have even won if he actually went all out.
It was something that he mentioned at one point where he was about to swing and he realized that, oh shit, if I swing, kind of like picturing back to when he took off Kaiju number 9's head, where he's like, if I swing, I'm gonna hurt him. So like, why I can't just do that? That's not a thing that I should do.
I think at this point he could take Mina.
It wasn't them calling him vice captain. It was somebody calling for the vice captain that he was going to throw up.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. You're correct.
Right. But at the end, we have the party. We find out that what's his name, Haruichi, is the scion of the company that makes this stuff. Everybody kind of starts having like a little bit of an argument where it's basically like, hey, let's discuss where we felt like we fell short, and it kind of like is painted as a rite of passage almost. And then at the very end, Kafka is promoted, so he's no longer just kind of like allowed to be there per se, but now he's like officially a member of the squad.
He's no longer the comedy relief.
Yeah, he's no longer the comedic relief. But
that part felt semi-realistic to me because, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you had that happen to you in the military, Gamma, but like after like a successful deployment, people just let loose. They were just like hanging out, doing all sorts of stuff. We talk about the whole thing we went through, but it was mostly just, I'm glad it's over. Cool. See you guys in a week when we're back at work.
Yeah, I get that, but no, sadly, it didn't happen to me.
I never deployed. Unlucky, or maybe lucky actually.
I feel like this is what was I gonna say? Like this might be like a cultural thing, because like I feel like as Americans, like if we went through some stuff like this, we would kind of be like, okay, cut loose. We survived. Fucking great. Like let's recharge some batteries, etc. I feel like in Japan they would be more likely to kind of like scold each other for like not making everyone else's job easier, almost kind of like hold them accountable for like for picking up their slack.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah,
sounds more like playing League of Legends actually.
It sounds like playing.
Hey guys, we won. Yeah, we did. That lane split you did earlier, terrible. No longer push there. Go help your jungler.
Where are my healers at?
Why are you roaming top lane?
Yeah.
This is mid only lanes. We're winning through mid. Whatever.
I had a lot of the same in Overwatch where I was like, play to the point. Play to the point. Why is everyone leaving the point?
We have a Pharah. Guys, we have a Pharah. Take out their snipers. We have a Winston. Get on the sniper.
Yeah.
That's me and my friends all the time. So we stop playing.
All of that. Exactly. Well, that and also, like, again, Blizzard is terrible. But yeah. So I do feel like, that culturally, this is probably exactly what would happen. Probably not to the same extreme because, like, Japanese people are kind of like, hey, keep the negativity to yourself just for, like, the good of the whole. But I do feel like they would have like some passive aggressive way of letting you know, hey, I expect you to pick up your slack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So drinking with your coworkers is very common there, whereas it's less common here. Like you're only going to go out with the coworkers that you're friends with. You're not going to go out with all your coworkers just because.
True. I guess closing thoughts here, because the next what do you call it, arc is going to be really, really hardcore. It's actually one of my favorites. And before we get to that, I'd like to know where, story-wise, where are you guys with the characters at this particular point? Before we said we didn't like Mina because she felt kind of distant, almost like a goal as opposed to a character. We said that Kafka was very One Punch Man-y. I think the overall favorites were Kikoru and Ichikawa. So I'm interested to hear you guys' takes on which characters you liked this time, which characters you didn't like, what moments in the arc stood out to you.
Where do we start?
I guess Helix, because he's at the top.
Gotta make me think about it. Give me a second. Let me think about it a little bit.
All right, Gamma.
Ishikawa is still the main guy, at least for me.
Yeah.
Since if you notice, he thinks outside the box. Well, everybody was using regular bullets. He changed his to be ice.
Mm-hmm.
Which, further ahead, you will know why. It's a little spoiler. You'll see that later. The girl that used to be all cocky and snobby is now acting all tsundere-like.
Who? Kikoru?
Kikoru.
Yeah, she was.
I have a question about that.
She was kind of a tsundere, like from the get go. But yeah, like there was I recall there was a couple of points where they kind of like implied that she's got a thing for Kafka in this particular story arc. One of them being whenever he tells her good job, and then like they read her vitals to her, and they're like, "Oh, your heart seems to be spiking. Your heartbeat seems to be spiking," and she's like, "Hey, don't tell me that." And also, whenever she notices that he came back safe, she seemed relieved about it. So, yeah, I kind of hope, like, like it feels like it could be kind of like a senpai thing. Like, hey, I'm happy to be noticed by senpai, and I'm happy that senpai is safe. It could also be read as kind of like a small crush type thing, I feel, which is awkward because Kafka's older and Kikoru is like fresh out of high school. So, I mean, like, there's that. But, like, yeah.
And also, there's two people in the crew right now that know about Kafka transforming.
Yeah.
As of now.
Yeah, exactly. Kikoru and Ichikawa. So, was there a moment in this particular arc that stood out to you more than any other?
When Kaiju number 9 eats that driver. You notice that he cannot easily take over a body right away. It takes some time.
It is something that I forgot to mention. Like Kaiju number 9, like he's got that body horror thing going on. He can make himself look like people, but it looks like he has to eat them, which means that the body that he was inhabiting previously is somebody he ate.
Yeah, and that's the messed up part that you just bring up.
He's a creepy motherfucker.
Hey.
I wish I leaned more into that, honestly. It was so cool.
Yeah. Like, well, no spoilers, but okay.
But otherwise, that's pretty much all that stood up to me.
Okay.
That is cool.
No, Ichikawa being your boy, how did you feel about his fight against Kaiju number 9?
When he shot Kaiju number 9, that bullet froze him for a bit. Which I'm like, okay, what if he had a stronger freezing attack? Would that completely work? Or would that not work?
You mean like capture him 100%?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Alrighty, so Sacro, tell us, who was your favorite character? Do you have a least favorite character? And what moment in the story arc stood out to you the most?
Wow, I don't know what stood out to me the most. I kind of like the fight scene because it felt really... It felt one-sided, but in the kind of way you want it to be. Here's the main character coming to save the day again, which is a trope I never get tired of, even though I've seen it in literally every anime I've watched ever in my life. I still like it.
I mean, what's not to like?
What I was going to ask, it almost always works. It always gets the emotional response you want.
Exactly. Naruto coming back to Konoha after, like whenever Pain just blew the place up. That
fight was so good. I want to talk about that. Well, maybe I do.
We will have to do a Naruto episode, I guess, at some point.
Oh, man, I have so many thoughts on the show. It was my childhood show. But I want to talk about something that may or may not become a factor in the future.
Mm-hmm.
The shipping, yeah.
Okay.
So we got Kafka and Kikuru, and we got Kafka Mina, right? Those are like the main two obvious choices.
Right.
We got Childhood Friend, and then we got Tsundere Girl, which usually loses. I don't think I've ever been the choice at the end of the show.
Weirdly, Darling in the Franxx was the opposite, where like the girl that likes the guy is the one who loses, and then the tsundere won out in the end. So yeah.
There's one more shipping that you forgot, Sakura.
Oh, you're right, Ichikawa. My bad.
Yeah.
Ichikawa and whom? Like Ichikawa and Kafka?
Who do you think? No, Ichikawa and Iharu. What do you mean?
Oh, okay.
No, Ichikawa and Kafka for the
No, he's
for
like,
the
I can't let my I can't let my friend die.
Yeah,
he said it 3 different times across 3 different panels.
He did. Like, and here's the
like
weird
they
thing.
just met each other.
Like, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I feel like you guys just met. What do you mean you're friend? Like,
yeah, they're kind of speedrunning a lot of this beginning stuff. It feels like in the manga,
right?
They kind of set us up,
right?
So.
Once you get to the anime, it'll probably slow it down a bit, so it'll actually be a bit more spread out.
Yeah, I would hope so. At least, I'm not usually a fan of filler, but like, hey, if you want to flesh out like their basic training a little bit, I'm not gonna be mad.
Yeah. So, what side of the ship wars are you guys already standing on before it actually begins?
I feel like Kafka Mina feels a little awkward because, like, here's the thing. I feel like they have a lot of history that we are not seeing. Like, obviously, they were friends from childhood, and like eventually they just kind of lost touch. But I feel like there's a lot of stories there that aren't told. And as far as Kikoru, I like Kikoru. I think she should date someone her own age, but.
Kikoru and Ichikawa, I got you.
Yeah, Kikoru and Ichikawa, I feel like would be cool. But here's the thing: if you guys have ever seen Welcome to the Demon School, Iruma-kun, I get the feeling that Kikoru and Ichikawa are like Azazel and Clara to Kafka's Iruma.
Oh, you're so messed up. You just call her stupid.
I didn't call her stupid. Like so
if she's Clara, she's stupid.
They're the perpetual besties, is what I mean. Like what that means is like they're not interested in each other, but they both have like a special bond with the protagonist to the point where they're like almost like fighting for the best friend role. You know what I mean?
Soulmate.
I can see that.
Yeah.
She definitely has a crush on him though, which is
I can see that.
evident by the few scenes. Mina though, I don't know how she feels about him. I think she feels kind of maybe sad he didn't follow through with their dream.
Right.
And maybe that was what the rift was caused by. I haven't read it, so obviously I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like you may be right there. I feel like eventually it kind of became a thing that when he kept flunking out, she probably attributed it to him not taking it seriously. And she just kind of like
didn't though.
Yeah. And she kind of like eventually probably just decided like, okay, well, if you're not gonna follow through with what we promised, then I guess it's just me then. I feel like that's probably true. She also seems to kind of have like a really cold and aloof demeanor. Even when she was a child, she's got kind of like a very hard, like exterior.
Was he crying
Okay,
in the first scene?
I think that's attributed though to the fact that we're always seeing it from Kafka's point of view.
She was crying in the first scene we saw her.
And she's crying, and then immediately that crying turns into I'm gonna kill all kaijus. So I mean, she didn't stay there. Kafka was kind of like more lax about it, like, oh man, I lost a video game, that sucks. She was like, well, my cat died, that sucks. And then like, both of them just kind of like arrive at the same, like, nah, fuck kaiju, we're gonna kill them all. So and
she's John Wick. I got you.
Yeah, she's John Wick. She John Wick this shit. Like,
she's going to.
Yeah. So. She also got herself a bigger, badder cat, I guess. But I think Helix does have a point that we might see her as kind of cold and aloof because we're almost looking at this from Kafka's perspective. We're gonna have to get to the Mina chapter before we know what's really going on in her mind, I feel.
True.
Even in some of the stuff we've seen, we haven't seen it in what we've seen so far, but as far as I read ahead, she doesn't really have any soft moments. She's mostly just, again, somebody people are looking towards.
Right.
I don't think that's going to change though until Kafka hits close to her power level.
Yeah, if he ever does, maybe something happens and she becomes like the villain somehow.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. Anime barely ever takes the route of actually taking characters and changing them like that.
Unless you watch Madoka.
I've never seen
Well,
Madoka, but I can tell it's one of your favorites.
Madoka Magica was set up specifically to be the way it was, though.
Madoka is one of the most trippy animes you will ever watch. The first couple of episodes are so like happy-go-lucky, and by the time you're at the season finale, it's just like, why did I watch this?
Yeah, we all know that there's
Madoka
like
Magica, right?
Yeah, there's like a huge
it's only
plot
the first
twist.
episode where it's weird.
Yeah,
after the first episode, everything goes immediately to crap.
Yeah, because it's a magical girl anime until it's a horror. So, like,
and then
that anime.
Yeah.
There's also movies based. Have
y'all seen the movies?
I have not.
No, I didn't watch them.
Oh my gosh, the movies trip you even further. If you watch the latest movie, like the plot twist at the end is such a. I could go on about Madoka. I'll leave Madoka alone.
Madoka Magica is the Doki Doki Literature Club of anime.
For sure.
It kind of feels like it's like the rug pull anime.
The big.
I didn't know what it was either.
Well, there's other rug pull anime, but I don't think that any of them. I mean, Madoka Magica is definitely one of the better ones because
Madoka smacks you in the face with it.
Yeah, because like
let's School Days.
I was gonna say School Days is one of those that really sucks, but like
that's the very last episode, man.
The other one that I was gonna mention was fucking Bleach, because we all remember where we were when Captain Aizen showed that he was actually the bad guy. So
I like that one, but we didn't get very much time with him, so.
No, but like
if you cut out all of the filler, like he's got quite a bit of a.
I think he was in there for a few episodes with Momo.
Yeah,
that's her whole thing is him. But then like,
we liked.
He wasn't really a character until he betrayed.
Oh, he was a nice guy. I was like, oh man, the guy with the glasses, he just seems like your regular dad. You know, like he's taking care of Momo. Like he's obviously a trustworthy guy. But that squinty guy, he's up to something. Yeah,
I mean, so Bleach has some issues. That was a good season. I really liked it.
Yeah,
but to be fair, Aizen was just one character in a sea of 32 that got like introduced to us in that one 24 episode season.
100% right.
I forgot about him. I'm like, oh, he died. That's crazy. Anyways, here's this guy. Here's this guy. Here's this girl. Here's 3 new characters who all matter, by the way.
You are 100% right. Like fucking Tight Kubo just introducing like just vomiting characters onto a page and not paying any of them any time at all.
Looked good.
I thought that mad scientist would have been the one that was the bad guy.
Anyway, Helix.
Favorite ship in Bleach, go.
Back to me.
Favorite ship in Bleach? Oh man, like Soifong and Yoruichi. Like there's no way there wasn't anything going on in there. Like those two had like some tension.
So much.
Every episode with Soifon was just
yeah.
Okay.
Whenever they revealed her Bankai, I thought that was a really cool Bankai. It was just one giant freaking missile.
Anyway, Helix, you have had time to think. Who's your favorite character? Did you have a least favorite character, and what part of this arc stood out to you the most?
I probably liked 2 characters the most, just because whenever they met Kaiju number 9, like they kind of fought each other. I liked how they were actually not just like trying to be basic side characters. They were actually trying to stand out for themselves and fight.
100%. Like that is an excellent observation. Everyone in this manga is trying to be the main character.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even like the vice captain had mentioned it too. Like they have one person that's towering over them, and it's putting all of them on their toes to be the best, or to at least show growth so they don't get left behind.
Yeah.
So the fact that even the side characters are showing something like that is something to be mentioned.
When I first read the whole thing, well, up to chapter 60 or whatever I'm on, I did not like they introduced so many characters and we're trying to give them all moments right away. Like I could not. I didn't want to care about that. I want to learn more about the 3 they initially introduced first.
Right.
But then they kept making me like new characters after new character. And I liked them all. Like I
got it.
He's cool.
I'd say like the first season, quote unquote season, it was Kafka, Tsundere Girl, and guy that joined Kafka with the tearing apart bodies. Yeah.
Hikaru and Ichikawa.
This one was more Haru and Iharu.
Yeah, Reno and Iharu.
Reno and Iharu. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep getting their names mixed up. So
that's fine.
That's why I can scream it.
That's why we're all here.
And I think it pointed those two out in this group of just because of like how the fight went, and then Kafka and what's twin hair girl's name again?
Kikoru.
Like then they showed up and actually fought the.
Well, she didn't fight.
Yeah, that's true. She was fighting off screen this time. Like she fought in the first arc. And basically showed like that she towered over everyone. In this one, she had like one scene, I feel, and then
she was killing them
at the very beginning.
At the very beginning.
I thought there was another one that she fought.
Maybe, but like if that is the case, it was a very quick fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the fights were quick except for the Kaiju number 9.
Yeah, the
Kaiju
number 9.
Other than the main character having his screen time. It showed different characters than the first season actually showed, or the first volume showed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, arc.
I kind of prefer seeing more of the main character before we get into side characters. I feel that should be more about Kafka, because he's kind of just...
I don't mind main characters getting their time, because you can't just have like side characters right at this point, and then 20 chapters later, they're at a further point and you didn't see any growth. At least this is showing a little bit of growth for them.
I feel like Helix is right, because otherwise you end up with a Bleach situation where we know Ichigo is strong and then everybody else just kind of falls away. Like,
well, the first season of Bleach was establishing Ichigo, and then as soon as they were like in a spot where he was kind of established, they started establishing all of his friends one after another.
Yeah, but then like you give it enough time and then it doesn't. Or like I guess Ichigo would be like a bad example. Let's talk about Goku, right? Like do any of the other
all you need.
Do any of the other sea fighters matter after a while?
I mean,
so in Dragon Ball they all mattered. It was in Z that only like 4 characters mattered.
Yeah, Goku, Gohan, Trunks, and Vegeta. The Saiyans.
Yeah, I mean that was a writing mistake.
Piccolo mattered a little bit, but like like I feel like
Piccolo mattered to train Gohan.
Yeah, dodge.
Basically, yeah. Dodge. I don't even think I've seen the original show in the least. Like
if you've seen the abridged, it's
4-star. Yeah, Team 4-star is all I remember now.
Yeah, same. Like it's funny because like whenever I met Dan Green, the voice of Yugi. Everyone kept telling me like, hey, you should get him to sign your Funko Pop with a quote from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. And I was like, how insulting must that be to the guy who actually played Yugi to have people ask him to sign like Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged quotes, which he never said, like it must be awful.
Talking about that, there was a video I saw of the voice actor that plays Goku. He was saying somebody had asked him what does he think of the Team 4-star Abridged. He straight up said like, look, I can respect what they do, but I will not acknowledge them just because I am from the official release. Like, I understand everything they're doing.
Sean Schimmel said that.
He did. I'll have to find that video because it was such a great way to point out from the official standpoint to abridged series, like how abridged series can get more popular than sometimes for the main
I feel like
release.
That is true, yeah. Sword Art Online abridged is so good too. If you guys haven't seen that one yet.
I've seen it, and I feel like it fixes Sword Art Online.
It fixes so much of Sword Art Online. If I could voice act, I would make one of those in a heartbeat, but I cannot.
Oh gosh, we need to make a Kaiju number 8 abridged. Let's do it. All of us will do the voices. Right like, so that means we can get caught up real easy, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. One episode's done. Let's go.
So, with that said, so Helix, you mentioned your favorites and the moments that stood out to you. So I guess for me, like my favorite in this particular arc, I have 2. Number 1 is Kaiju number 9. I feel like he's got a level of menace that feels really, really good in this particular point in the manga. He is clearly above and beyond what they expect to find. And the fact that he's very intelligent and very almost like he's so close to being human, it's uncanny, and that makes him extra creepy.
The fact that it's like a style of espionage that he's doing,
yes,
while also carrying out experiments that helps him build better, whatever they call
Yojus, yeah.
It's interesting seeing
I'm
gonna
call them Yuhus now, like just because you put that in my head.
It's interesting to see how the other side of it works of it too, while they're trying to experiment to make better and stronger creatures.
Right. And I feel like that makes him so much more creepy, because I feel like there is a reason that he's so hostile towards humanity, and I feel like we just don't know what that reason is yet. It's not just because he's a kaiju. There's got to be more to it than that.
You'd hope so, at least.
Yeah. So he's a creepy motherfucker, and I love him for it. I think he is so cool. Secondly is Vice Captain Hoshina. I am a sucker for swordsman characters. I love samurai. Samurai are my whole aesthetic. And Vice Captain Hoshina is so fucking badass. Like,
the way he showed off in this one was pretty cool. Like whenever he shows up, he's like, "Yeah, that's where Mina's at." Like,
yeah, and then he just like slices a guy without even trying. He's like, and this is where I'm at, like just so chill about it. I like that he's got like this goofy demeanor, and at the same time he's just like just an unabashed badass. I feel like that's so cool, and I love characters like that. I'm like, that is exactly my type of character. So I was like, hey, like, I love the antagonist. I love Captain Hoshina. They stood out to me here. If there is a scene that stood out to me in particular, there was a scene where Ichikawa is fighting Kaiju number 9, and Kaiju number 9 realizes, oh, you've learned to dodge my bullets. Well, what if I do this? And it's the first instance of like huge body horror thing that we see him doing, where he just kind of like grows extra arms, and he's got like bullets charging up in all directions, so that Ichikawa's gonna have a hard time dodging. And just that particular panel, it looks so creepy, and I was just like, yes, this exactly is what I was hoping this guy would be. So I fucking loved it. It was great. Also, Kafka Scream, thought it was cool. I think Gamma was right on the money when he said that he had the Godzilla charge up thing from the spine, only to do a scream, a concussive scream that exploded all the bullets. I thought that was cool. Yeah. Any closing thoughts?
I mean, it's definitely got its story building up, but it's definitely showing promise. So
yeah,
I just want more of Kafka.
Want more of Kafka?
I feel like he's still sidelined a lot in his own story.
You will see more of Kafka in the upcoming 2 arcs. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I've already read them. It's still not a whole lot. We still get a lot of panels of other characters all around doing other things, one-offs, and then.
For all of you watching at home, if you want to read along with us for the raid on Tachikawa Base, we will be reading from chapters 24 all the way to chapter 32, and that will be the next episode of the Kaiju number 8 discussion. However, we will take a break from Kaiju number 8 for our next discussion, because Brother Gamma has been hounding me to read The Great Mage Returns After 400 Years, and I feel like, yeah, you know, if we're gonna get a little bit of some variety coming in here. So we will read the first arc of The Great Mage Returns After 400 Years, and then afterwards Helix and Sacro will knife fight to determine which one of them gets to choose the manga after that.
I'm gonna have a crab. I'm gonna have a crab fight for me.
Out of curiosity, do you guys have like a manga in mind that you would like the group to read together?
I already picked one, yeah.
You already picked one?
You did?
Are you going to tell us which one?
I don't know what it's called. It has a vampire in it.
No, there's too many with vampires.
It's a vampire girl. The new one that's really popular.
Oh, Into the Night?
I picked up the first chapter from my local Barnes & Nobles, and I've been wanting to read it. Just haven't done it yet.
Sweet. Yeah, like Into the Night. I've been curious about that one. Insomniac Guy.
If any of you read it.
Insomniac Guy and Vampire Girl become best friends? Yeah.
I'm all about that.
It's my understanding that manga's very much about the vibes, and I'm interested. And Helix, did you have one in mind?
I have not.
Okay.
I just want to pick something I haven't read yet, so that way, hopefully, you guys also hadn't read it yet.
I'll probably just like build a random generator and of a bunch of different ones that I've been reading, and just make it pick one.
Sweet, perfect. Oh, like just scrolling down, and I from the Kaiju number 8 wiki, and I see this picture of baby Mina holding a gun. This is something. So until next time,
should be the thumbnail.
Until next time, friends, I have been the Midnight Bard. This has been Helix, Gamma, and Sacro joining me. Thank you guys for coming along for this journey of Let's Read Manga. And until next time, adios!